The brutal and heinous execution of 20-year-old Kevin Nunes was something out of a movie. Jamaican-born Kevin Nunes, who was from the Whitmore area of Wolverhampton, had earned himself a promising football career through sheer grit and determination. As a young child, Kevin had survived the ghetto life of garrisons of Jamaica and made his way to the UK as a schoolchild. Kevin was studious and quickly showed talent for football, so much so that he had established himself as a regular player for the Staffordshire Rangers, a semi-professional team. Kevin was regarded as tough, resilient, astute and a natural leader. He had quick pace, excellent football IQ and was good both on and off the ball. So good in fact that Kevin had impressed scouts at Tottenham hotspurs and was even on leyton orients books. However, Kevin was displaced. Kevin had left the ghettos of Jamaica and was being raised in rough areas like Whitmore, where the crime rate was up in the Wolverhampton area. Kevin struggled to keep his mind on football, the gym and training, all the while falling in with a bad group of people whom were known to get money. By 2002, Kevin was in a committed relationship with Leanne Williams. In order to secure his girlfriend, it was said that Kevin had told a friend that he liked Leanne. That friend then told Leanne's friend, and then Leanne was told. The young adult lovers then agreed to meet, where they established their relationship. Leanne soon became pregnant, and with the prospect of being a first-time dad and starting a family, football at the top flight was getting further from Kevin Nunes' grasps. Kevin needed money right now. Kevin, whom so far had not dabbled in the drug trade, firmly accepted friends' invitations, who were part of the Heathtown crew, and together Kevin and his gang friends started to deal Class A, mainly white. That was not your 2 for $5 error, for half grams either. Now Kevin was taught how to make major profit by his friends. Kevin started buying large quantities of washed down Class A, white to be specific, and then made the cross-country trip to Scotland, where the demand for white was astronomical. You could quadruple your profits at the very least. Among the Heathtown gang, who also called themselves the Firetown Mandem or Firetown Crew, they dubbed it the Aberdeen Run. Now Kevin and other dealers from Heathtown, Whitmore, and also surrounding areas like Whitmore and Birmingham and Warsaw had boarded trains, stuffed in suitcases and backpacks, sometimes even in the waistbands of their trousers, and they made the 412-mile trip to Scotland, where they made 5 times as much profit in Scotland as they would in the West Midlands. Now Kevin, who was only 20 years old, began to head to Scotland at every single opportunity he got, and the 20-year-old was stacking money. However, Kevin was stepping on rivals' toes. Now, anytime you are in the dealing game, of course, there's going to be rivals who operate on the same patch as you. Now, there was jealousy, hatred, and rivalry, and it ensued with other dealers who were also gangsters. At the top of the criminality chain was 27-year-old Adam Juve, who was called the Godfather. Reports say that Adam had been making just under £40,000 a week, transporting gear from the West Midlands to Aberdeen, and he quickly became angry that Kevin was interfering in his business by doing the runs himself. Adam did not want or need competition. This was a monopoly, plain and simple. Now, according to reports, Kevin had been ambushed in September of 2002 and then forced into a car against his will. It was then driven by either Antonio Christie or Adam Juve. Now, the car pulled up to Paddington in Staffordshire, and the men held a GUN against Kevin's head, and then he was ordered to get out of the car. 20-year-old Kevin Nunes had no chance to retreat, had no chance to ask for forgiveness or even beg. He was aimed execution style on September 19th of 2002 in a quiet Paddington Lane, just off the side of a farm in Staffordshire. Now, Kevin had been struck with ammo that tore through shoulders, chest, neck, once, twice, 3, 4 times, and 5 times. Each press of the trigger was purposeful and held the intent of K-ing Kevin, who was now known to be a dealer rather than a footballer. The motive behind Kevin's death was because he had the audacity to make cross-country runs sad in gear when it was already monopolised by Adam Juve and his gang. Now, police quickly established the motive behind the slaying as a gang dispute between the rival gangs and dealers. Now, according to interviews with Leanne Williams, she had no idea Kevin had been killed initially and was left laying in a Paddington lane. She had reported Kevin missing after he had not returned home. Kevin was excited to be a dad and he would always make sure that he was in contact with Leanne, so the fact that she could not get a hold of him and he was MIA was a cause for concern. So concerned was Leanne Williams that she had no contact with the father of her unborn child that she actually went out looking for Kevin, venturing to his usual hangout spots in Heathtown. No one had seen or heard from Kevin. Now, Leanne Williams was said to have been frantic, and tragically and sadly, her worst fears were then realised when Leanne received a knock at the door by Staffordshire police. Now, the police refused to tell Leanne why, but they wanted to know Kevin's last movements. So, Leanne told police Kevin Nunes had been wearing a red cardigan and jeans with a pair of Nike white trainers. Police then broke the news. Police quickly noted that this was now an M investigation. Leanne broke down in a flood of tears. Now, when police investigated this crime, they were stonewalled. No one was willing to talk, give names or persons of interest, or explain why anyone would want a talented footballer dead. However, after 3 years of silence, Simeon Taylor, who was in jail at the time of Kevin Nunes' M, had contacted police and told them that he was able to name the people who were responsible for the brutal and heinous crime of Kevin Nunes. When police asked how, Simeon says because he was there. Simeon explained there were 5 people there that night in Paddington. Kevin was struck and beaten, and I know this because I drove one of the men to the scene. Now, Simeon actually denied partaking in the actual M and says that he would be willing to give evidence at a trial, so police had to do everything they could to keep him sweet. Simeon told police Adam Juve, who was known as the Godfather and was the mastermind behind the M, Antonio Christie acted as second in command, and Owen Cooks, who was from Wolverhampton, was a foot soldier, while Levi Walker was a dealer and enforcer. There were 2 other people as well. Now, as the only person able and willing to give evidence that could link gangsters to the K of Kevin, police rolled out the red carpet for Simeon Taylor, despite him being a criminal himself. Simeon was given drink anytime he wanted. He was taken on night outs by his handlers, and he and his family even enjoyed a holiday to South Africa, which was disguised as a relocation package. His mum and his 2 brothers went on a trip too, at the mercy of taxpayers, to the tune of £10,000. Such an opportunist was Simeon Taylor that even though he was a witness for a major crime, he continued to commit crimes himself. Simeon had been caught with a GUN. He had also caused £8,000 worth of damage to a safe house that he was staying in, and continued to sell and use Class A. Now, at the time, police also booked hotels for Simeon Taylor, and Simeon would then cancel the hotels but then pocket the money. Now, police refused to record or note down Simeon's bad behaviour, even though he broke contact rules a record 76 times. With Simeon's help, the dangerous gang went on to trial for the M of Kevin Nunes in January 2008, even though there were misfortunes to be had. 5 men, which included Adam Juve, was jailed for life after being found guilty of the M. He was told that he would serve a minimum term of 28 years. The same sentence was given to Antonio Christie. Michael Osborne was given a sentence of at least 28 years too, after being found guilty of the M, and Owen Crooks was given a jail sentence of at least 25 years after being found guilty of the M, and Levi Walker was also given a life sentence. Now, crazily, in 2012, all of their convictions were overturned due to the police failings and mishandling of the case, such as giving drink to Simeon Taylor and allowing him to go on holiday and enabling the gangster to commit more crimes while being exempt from the law. He was a drunk. Now, to add salt to the wounds, Levi Walker and Antonio Christie then sued Staffordshire police, and the police force was forced to settle out of court to the tune of £200,000. One gangster received a payout of £150,000, while the other gangster received a payout of £50,000. Now, despite Levi Walker having his conviction quashed and also being given a large sum of money, enough money for him to turn his life around, he was actually jailed for life with a minimum term of 30 years for the 2004 M of Trooper Narelle Sharp in Smethwick. He was a soldier. Now, leaving the M investigation of Kevin Nunes, the talented footballer whose life was snatched from him after he turned to dealing, which has not been solved till this day, which meant that his child was forced to grow up without a dad. Condolences. Stay safe. Safe.